Hey everybody, it's Pastor Jeff. Just a quick introduction this week as we look at Multiply week number 4 and the topic of living as the church. I'm including some video here from Alan Hirsch, and he's going to walk us through an understanding of what happens when the church lives on mission. Now you're going to hear him use a term called movement. Movement is nothing more than the expression and the outflow of the church on mission. And what he's going to do is help us understand what we see biblically taking place as Jesus poured into the disciples, who then poured into the disciples, who then poured into the disciples, all the way to our modern day where we are. And we're going to try to understand what we need to do as the church, both individual as Christian, as our local church called the Bridge, but as the global church as well, to see God do what only He can do. We're looking at the 6 components of where and how we see a biblical explosion of grace, where we see discipleship happening in an organic, multiplying way that Mr. Hirsch calls a movement that we would call Christianity lived out. Please watch each of these videos. They average about 3 or 4 minutes apiece. And then stop at each one and talk a little bit about that component. But make sure that you leave enough time in the group to get through all 6. Because as you'll hear Alan say, if you take one piece out of this 6-piece understanding, you may have what appears to be a pleasant church, but you won't have the fullness of a movement, of an explosion of supernatural grace in action. I pray that your conversations will be lively and that God will use this to better help you to understand His call, His command, and His commission for each of us as individual believers and collectively as the church. Praise God, and I look forward to seeing you on Easter Sunday. Bye-bye.